Hey, this is the World Advice Channel 2. What I want to talk about today is a topic of Kristi Noem's husband's cross-dressing situation. So for this video, I'm going to discuss a lesson that there is to learn from this situation. So if you're watching this video to know more about the exact situation, like the details of it and stuff, this is not the right video for you. But if you're interested in learning a moral lesson from this situation, then this is definitely the best video for you, okay? So now that I mentioned that, let's get started. So when it comes to the topic of the lesson to learn from this Kristi Noem's cross-dressing situation, the lesson that there is to learn is that the people who talk the most shit, in other words, the most judgmental people, the people who say you have no morals and stuff, usually are the ones who have the biggest skeletons in her closet, okay? Because the truth of the matter with Kristi Noem, with the situation with Kristi Noem, and of course, numerous conservative people as well, to be quite blunt and honest with you, um, the truth of the matter is, okay, this is nothing new, okay? There's been so many conservatives who have been caught doing extremely immoral things, and not just immoral things, but things that go against their values, okay? There's so many conservatives who've been caught, sleeping with other men, which whether you want to admit or not, I'm just going to keep it real. It's definitely an immoral lifestyle. If you want to live that lifestyle, hey, go ahead if that's how you want to live. But I'm going to keep it real. That's an immoral lifestyle, to be quite blunt and honest with you. And the most important thing is it's against their principles, because these conservatives all the time say, oh well, that's wrong, that's immoral to be gay, and blah 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 blah, and all that type of stuff, and we're going to pass legislation preventing people from being openly gay and stuff, yada, 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 the whole 9 yards. You hear this shit all the time. But at the same time, they're also practicing doing the same thing themselves. And there's so many examples, it's actually ridiculous. I don't even think I have to repeat it for you. If you follow politics, you can find so many examples of this stuff happening. And I mean a lot of this stuff happening, okay? So the truth of the matter is, when it comes to her husband, Kristi Noem's husband, doing something known as cross-dressing, which in itself is a very, very big thing in the gay community, and it's definitely a sign that he is homosexual, because, this is not the good old days like 30, 40, 50 years ago, where sometimes men just dressed like women as a joke. Nowadays, when men dress like women, it's a sign that you're gay. So that's honest truth here. So you can't even make the argument, well, people used to do it all the time. It was a joke back then. It's just like somebody making the argument that saying that using the term gay meaning happy, still applies, because in the past it was perfectly normal for people to say i'm I'm gay because they're happy. Okay, now if you say you're gay, it means, well, you're gay, you're into men. So it's kind of making it so, if you make the argument, well, people used to cross dress all the time, that's like making the same argument that it's still okay to just go around saying I'm having a great gay day, like which they used to do all the time in like the 1950s. We don't do that anymore, because not unless you're actually, well, gay, which means you're into men. So that's the honest truth of the matter. So even if you make that argument, it's simply bullshit, because the truth of the matter is Kristi Noem's husband, as we can clearly tell in this age, is gay. Okay, he's gay. He's into that stuff, or at the very least, he's bisexual. So to put it bluntly, he is into, you know, well, the dick, to keep it real, okay? And that is the honest truth here. So let's make it clear, he is gay, okay? And back to what my main point was, which of course was a topic of the people who tend to talk the most shit are the ones who are the most hypocritical, which is the main lesson of this video, is that, to be honest with you, you know, when it comes to, of course, the stuff we're seeing from the Conservative Party numerous times over and over and over and over again, a lot of them doing the exact same thing that they fight and go against. The truth of the matter is, it just shows you that people who talk the most shit are the ones most guilty of it. Because look at it this way, okay? If somebody is truly happy, and not just happy, but comfortable with themselves, why would they waste your time going around criticizing other people and saying that you have no morals? Okay, like actually think about that for a second. Okay, if you are truly happy with your life and all that type of stuff, okay, why would you waste your time just going around talking down and putting people, you know, through terrible situations and stuff if you're actually comfortable with yourself? Okay, think about that for a second. Okay, think about it, because the simple answer to our question is they're obviously not happy. Because if you're actually truly happy with yourself as a person, you wouldn't be going around talking shit and putting people down and saying, what you're doing is wrong and this and that, and you have no morals and blah, 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 all the freaking time, because, well, you would be doing well in life. And that's honest truth here. Okay. And it's not even the case about saying, oh, you have no morals and this and that, as something that obviously you can obviously say, you know, sometimes or something, but just obsessing over it all the friggin' time. And always talking down on other people and saying like, oh, the liberals, or the term that they've developed, libtards, you know, oh, they're all pedos and all this type of crap and all the stuff you hear from a lot of conservative leadership, and even sometimes the conservative, everyday followers and stuff. You hear that shit every single freaking time. Oh, these people are, the liberals are this and that. But if you're truly comfortable with yourself, why do you have to go around talking crap about other people? You would be satisfied and happy. You wouldn't have to go around saying, oh, they're this and they're that, and trying to pick on the gay community and all that type of stuff, and all these other communities of people. You wouldn't waste your time doing all that stuff. And Kristi Noem was doing that. She was doing a lot of hateful things towards the gay community and stuff, and talking a lot of shit. And look at what it turned out, her husband is into, and probably she's into probably some weird shit too, to be quite blunt and honest with you, as well as a lot of conservatives. They're into some weird ass shit, and that's honest truth here. Okay, so it just shows you, whenever people go around talking crap about someone else, it's a sign that they have something that they're probably into themselves, that they're not telling you about. Just like when you're going to school, there's always that one girl, oh my goodness, so fucking annoying, who always talks so much shit about everybody else, and specifically if you're a guy, but maybe not like, maybe, like a, maybe like the toughest guy, or whatever. You're just a guy, and maybe you're not the one who has the most amount of friends or something. So maybe she thinks you're an easy target, and she talks so much shit about you and talks down on you all the time and stuff, and says, oh, you're this, you're that, you have no morals, until a situation happens and you find out who she really is, as well as the people who were once her friends, and so on and so forth, and she did something that you would never be, not only stupid enough to do, but never immoral enough to do. When it comes to conservatives in general, the conservative leadership, and even a lot of everyday conservatives, not all, but a lot of everyday regular people who are conservatives, it's the same thing. Because if you're really comfortable with yourself, why do you have to go around talking so much shit about other people instead of focusing on your own life? Okay, even myself as a left-wing person, I don't approve of the gay lifestyle. I think it's not the greatest lifestyle. I don't think it's the best. I think people should decide, but I'm not going to waste my time like a lot of these conservatives, trying to enact policies that actively discriminate against them, and saying that, and even sometimes trying to find gay people just to beat them up and all this foolishness, which is something that I think everyone can agree is stupid, to be honest with you. If gay people want to get married, let them get married. But in the end of the day, you know, um, is it the best choice? I don't necessarily think so, but just wasting your time terrorizing them absolutely is a stupid choice. So, in short, to answer your question, the lesson learned from this video is that people who tend to judge the most are the people who have the most skeletons in their closet, okay? And if there's any more thing to discuss for this video, it just shows you not only um the fact that that is true, they probably have skeletons in their own closet. It makes you wonder if they're actually people you should actually trust. Because if they're gonna say one thing and do something behind the scenes, then it can relate to other things that they do as well, when it comes to policies and stuff. So it just shows you further why you should not trust the conservative party and vote the liberal party. And that is the truth. So anyway, that is my video. That is all I have to say. And simply put it, if you like this video, remember to thumbs this video up and hit the subscribe button. And that is all I have to say. And simply put, I'm out. So bye.